Welcome, Ukraine war today, 3 injured as Russia downs Ukrainian drone south of Moscow. Russian air defenses halted a Ukrainian drone attack on a Russian town on Sunday in which 3 people were hurt and apartment blocks were damaged, the Russian Defense Ministry said. Kyiv did not immediately respond to a request for comment. It has previously denied Russian assertions that its drones, also known as unmanned aerial vehicles, UAV, have flown into Russian territory and caused damage to civilian infrastructure. The Defense Ministry statement said the attack on the town of Kiryevsk, in Tula region 220 kilometers, 140 miles south of Moscow, involved the Ukrainian Tu-141 Strizh drone. A Poly-21 electronic unit took action against the Ukrainian drone, and as a result its navigation system was taken out of action, the ministry statement said. The drone lost its directional command and fell near the town of Kiryevsk in Tula region. TASS news agency quoted local officials as saying 3 people were hurt in the incident, but there were no serious injuries. It said 5 private homes were damaged. The blast, which occurred at around 3:20 p.m., 12:20 GMT, caused a large crater in the heart of Kiryevsk, a local emergency services representative told TASS. Social media videos and pictures showed a muddy crater near a building with its roof and walls heavily damaged. Shards of glass from broken windows spread across the stairwell of a nearby apartment block. Russia has previously reported drone attacks in several towns and cities, some of them hundreds of kilometers, miles, from its border with Ukraine. 3 Russian Air Force personnel died on December 26 when a drone believed to be Ukrainian was shot down at the main base for Russia's strategic bombers near the city of Soledar after flying hundreds of kilometers through Russian airspace. Ukraine shut the eastern town of Avdiivka to non-military personnel on Monday, describing it as a post-apocalyptic wasteland, as Kyiv seeks to break the back of Russia's flagging winter offensive before a counter-assault of its own. A top Ukrainian general said Kyiv was planning its next move after Moscow appeared to shift focus from the small city of Bakhmut, which Russia has failed to capture after half a year of the war's bloodiest fighting, to Avdiivka further south. Front lines in Ukraine have barely budged for more than 4 months despite a Russian winter offensive using hundreds of thousands of freshly called-up reservists and convicts recruited as mercenaries from jail. The Ukrainian military aims to wear down Russian forces before a counteroffensive in coming weeks or months. Ukrainian Ground Forces Commander Colonel General Alexander Syrsky, who said last week that the counterattack could come very soon, visited frontline troops in the east and said his forces were still repelling Russian attacks on Bakhmut. Defending the small city in the Industrialis Donbass region that Russia has tried to seize for months was a military necessity, said Syrsky, praising Ukrainian resilience in extremely difficult conditions. We are calculating all possible options for the development of events, and will react adequately to the current situation. Commander-in-Chief General Valery Zaluzny said on Saturday the situation was being stabilized around Bakhmut, where Russian forces say they are fighting street by street. Last week, the Ukrainian military warned that Avdiivka, a smaller town 90 kilometers, 55 miles further south, could become a second Bakhmut as Russia turns its attention there. Both towns have been reduced to rubble in fighting that both sides have called a meat grinder. I am sad to say this, but Avdiivka is becoming more and more like a place from post-apocalyptic movies, said Vitaly Barabash, head of the city's military administration. Only around 2,000 of a pre-war population of 30,000 remain, and he urged them to leave. A Ukrainian military video showed smoke billowing from ruined apartment blocks and dead soldiers on open ground and in trenches in Bakhmut. Inside Russia, residents of Kiryevsk, in Tula region 220 kilometers, 140 miles south of Moscow, reacted angrily to damage from what the defense ministry said was a Ukrainian drone down there on Sunday. The ministry said 3 people were injured and apartment blocks were hit. It was among the closest such incidents to the Russian capital so far. We were used to seeing these things only online, but now we've felt it ourselves. Now we know how it is, 62-year-old Kiryevsk resident Yuri Ovchinnikov told Reuters as Russian soldiers combed the area around the damaged buildings. There was no official comment from Kyiv. Ukrainian officials generally do not respond to reports of attacks within Russia, though they have sometimes celebrated them without accepting culpability. 2 people were killed and 32 wounded on Monday after Russian forces fired 2 S-300 missiles at the eastern city of Sloviansk northwest of Bakhmut, according to regional governor Pavlo Kyrylenko. President Volodymyr Zelensky posted a video of smoldering debris and vowed that Ukraine will not forgive such attacks. Moscow denies targeting civilians. Zelensky visited the southeastern Zaporizhia region on Monday, his 3rd trip to the front line in less than a week. He awarded soldiers and discussed nuclear safety with International Atomic Energy Agency chief Rafael Grossi, who also traveled to the area, home to Europe's biggest nuclear power plant, which has been occupied by Russian forces for the past year. Igor Sirota, Director General of the state-run Ukrenergo hydropower generating company, told Reuters there was no immediate danger to the plant but that Ukraine feared it could face a shortage of water to cool reactors by late summer. Since Putin's invasion to demilitarize Ukraine got bogged down in the autumn, he and other top Russian officials have played up the prospect the war could escalate to involve nuclear weapons. On Saturday he said he had struck a deal to station tactical nuclear weapons in neighboring Belarus. Kyiv and its Western allies reacted angrily to the plan, which, while not unexpected, is one of Russia's most pronounced nuclear warnings to NATO over its military support for Ukraine. Russia's nuclear rhetoric is dangerous and irresponsible, NATO spokeswoman Ona Lungescu said on Sunday, adding that there had been no changes in Russia's nuclear positions that would lead NATO to adjust its own. Ukraine security chief, Oleksiy Danilov, said Russia's plan would destabilize Belarus, which he said had been taken hostage by Moscow.